We got the people flowing in now. We're live now while you're fixing your hat.
Perfect.
What's good, everybody? Y'all know what it is, man. It's Eric Crocker here. We got Greg Panelli, the QB guru. Air It
That's
Out
you now.
podcast.
That's you. The new.
Oh, the QB guru? Or you want to tell them what? You want to tell them what I'm doing?
Coming, yeah, Eric. Well, you're going to be that guy here soon. The new up and coming quarterback coach. The guru that might be taking over the South. Quincy Avery doesn't know it yet, but it's coming for him.
I know. I'm coming for Quincy, man.
There we go.
Now, so what Greg is alluding to is there's this kid that I work with. He's a quarterback, and I hit Greg up, and I just, hey Greg, what do I do? How do I do this? Different warm ups. What do you do with these kids? And Greg, for those of you who don't know, Greg has been working with quarterbacks for years now. Greg played quarterback, was at Eastern Washington. I played with him at Modesto Junior College, and trains guys like Josh Allen. He has the infamous tweet that he puts out once a year.
The infamous one.
The infamous with the email that he was sending out to universities for Josh Allen, and they would not bite. How many college coaches responded? So first of all, let's talk about what's in the email. It's an email about Josh Allen, and you're like, hey, I have this kid, Josh Allen, great SATs, 6'4", 6'5", 200 pounds, like big arm, multi-sport athlete, great grades. Do you want him? And they're like, we'll pass. Fireball, California, we've never even heard of it. Right?
I will literally read off the email here. So
all right, so Greg's gonna read off the email that he was sending out for Josh Allen when Josh Allen was in high school.
This was December 19th, 2013. So
2013.
I was a year out of college then. I was a year and a half out of college. So I just left Oregon and came back home. And that's when I met Josh right after I was working, during my time at working for the Oregon Ducks. But sent it out, like, again, not really knowing, formatting the emails from our time with doing our recruiting stuff, but like trying to format it as a coach now, right? So
real quick, because there are a lot of people that critique your email. You're like, dude, I'm like I was damn email.
Yeah, I think I was 22 or 23 years old when I sent this out. So yeah, I'm about to be 33 in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I was. This is almost 10 years ago. So I was 24 when I sent this out to college coaches. So I said, hey, coach, whoever it may be. I know we've talked in the past about some recruits, and this is somebody that I've actually talked to before. I know we've talked in the past about some recruits, but I have a quarterback here in the Valley that I think you would like. His name is Josh Allen. He's from Firebaugh High School in Firebaugh, California. Fresno State has had some talks and visits with him, but nothing is on the table yet officially. He's got a huge arm, very smart kid, 3.8 GPA, 1480 SAT, and then the ACT we don't really take in California. So last time I posted this, I know a lot of people are like 22 ACT, but we don't take the ACT in California, and I think that's more science-based. But regardless, people looked way too far into his test scores rather than actually what the hell he was doing on the field. So, and then his stats, he was 196 for 347, 3,061 yards, 33 touchdowns to 5 picks, and then 407 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns.
So clearly he's dual threat, big, athletic quarterback, and they just couldn't. What goes into, because there's other quarterbacks, and again, for y'all that don't know, this is a quarterback-centered show. We're going to talk quarterbacks. We are going to talk about Justin Herbert, his skill set, him potentially have to play without guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. What is it like for a quarterback to play without your two top weapons on your offense? We're going to talk about some Tom Brady stuff. Is he washed? The rush on development of players, obviously that's more of a Trey Lance question, but when you think of guys like Jalen Hurts, and even some of the other guys that people don't think about, Dak Prescott, I've given some of my thoughts, but I want to hear yours. But let's rewind back to the topic at hand. But the hype, you train, how many quarterbacks do you train right now?
Like overall or like on a weekly basis?
Just overall, how many quarterbacks do you train?
Over 100 at least.
Over 100 quarterbacks. Right. So
All
And
different
you
levels, from the
yeah.
NFL to 10 years old
Right.
and everything in between. College guys to high school guys, obviously.
Now let's talk about from junior year college guys to, let's say, maybe sophomore year in potentially a junior college, because I want to know what the difference is between some of these guys that are at, like sophomore. You're looking at it like, man, this kid's hella talented, but the scouts, they're just not biting. And what goes into that?
You know, the first thing that, it's funny because I watch a lot of quarterbacks and I see these guys like on the field, and then, from the ground up, working with them mechanically to listening to them talk and seeing how their personalities are and getting to know their families. So I get to see them at a way more personal level than any others might ever know them, right? Basically, and you know how that is. As you train athletes, you got a couple of them that you become boys with that you're going to, if you had to get married again, they would be in your wedding type thing, right? Because they become family essentially. So, I think the biggest knock on him, and it was the same on me, and it's the same on a lot of these Central Valley kids, with the exception of some of the Fresno guys, is the level of talent in high school that you play. Like, that's the initial defense mechanism, I guess, from the high school coaches. Like, he's not playing the same amount of talent as somebody from, a larger school or a Division I school. And I do understand that, right? But then on the flip side of it, and I've always thought this, and this is nothing against guys that are playing at larger schools with stacked rosters, but how would those guys at the larger schools fare if they were without their star players, like you just kind of mentioned in regards to, Justin Herbert or whatever? How would those guys that might not be as good as Josh in high school or other kids that I've trained fare on a roster that's just full of a bunch of 5'8" kids running around with less than stellar coaching staff? And I'm not saying that the Fireball staff was less than stellar. Coach Maggio
You're
was a really
definitely
good coach.
saying that, but
no, I'm not.
won't
I'm just saying Valley as a whole, and you know how it is. The Fireball coaching staff when he was there was actually really good. But or take it on, then flip that, take him as the 6'4", 200-pound kid or whatever he was, 190 pounds in high school, and then put him on St. John Bosco, right? Or put him on Mater Dei, or put him with one of the Clovis schools. How would they really look? You know what I'm saying? So I think that college coaches these days are so fast to basically judge a kid off of the level that they play at versus what they can actually turn this kid into, help turn this kid into, or help develop him down the road with more talent and better coaching and facilities and training staffs and a strength program that's worthy. So it kind of trickled into the college thing. Wow, he plays in the Mountain West, right? We got guys like Jalen Hurts. Well, that wasn't his draft class. His draft class, Josh Rosen, right?
Rosen,
everybody
Baker Mayfield, Sam
Baker Mayfield,
Darnold,
Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold,
Lamar
Jackson, I think, were the 4 first rounders. I might be one more if I'm missing one. Are we missing one there?
Yeah, there were 5. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson.
Okay, yeah, you got it. Yep. So now, obviously, let's go ahead and redraft that. And he got Josh and Lamar, number 1 and number 2 pick back to back. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? On Locked On NFL Draft today, we did a redraft of the 2018 class, and let's see if we can see number 1 there.
There you go. And number 2 is Nick Chubb. Okay. Number 3, Lamar Jackson.
Nick Chubb, number 2, somebody did, and then Lamar Jackson got taken number 3. But yeah, in the redraft, I mean, there is Baker Mayfield actually got taken number 11, and they were just talking about what it might have looked like if he wasn't playing in Cleveland, if it was a different spot, like I think it was Miami Dolphins, like, but that had been a better fit for Baker, which that helps some of these quarterbacks as well.
And that's also what I was going to say. There, especially, I'm not going to go there yet, but the biggest thing for him was, okay, he's this big kid. He has all the arm talent in the world. What does that offense look like in Wyoming? Is he having to change protections? Is he having to make adjustments? How does he do on the fly? How does he do when he has to make plays by himself? Does he throw stupid balls? And there's all of those things that are mixed in like that. That's just how it goes. And again, it was like the same thing. He's playing at Wyoming, which historically is not the same caliber as Oklahoma football. Right. Or is not the same caliber as even necessarily Louisville football or UCLA football, right? So what would he have done nowadays? Like, you got the transfer portal. Could you imagine with the NIL deals that are going around? Like, you got this kid,
Josh Allen would have been out of there.
You got NIL
after probably the first year. You think there's a chance he leaves Wyoming because he played junior college the first year?
Yes,
and then he
started and he got hurt. His first game starting, he got hurt. I think it was against Eastern Michigan. He tried to run over a safety and broke his collarbone.
So maybe he doesn't need that, but definitely that.
But then the next year after, was the big year where he could have come out. Like I said this before, I picked him up from the airport, and the next morning his phone was just going crazy from NFL agents, like crazy. And he's like, I gotta go home and talk to my parents. And it was like he didn't know what the hell was going to happen. They flew the coach out from Wyoming to basically have a sit down with his parents and figure out, what are we going to do? And they decided to go back. So yes, after that, his real second year there at Wyoming, if with the money that's being tossed around, like we looked at valuations the other day, our NIL earnings, and I think Bryce Young's making $3.5 million this year in NIL deals. So like, you think about that, like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'm assuming it would have been similar, but he wasn't on those teams, and he did what he had to do, and he performed, and then he carried it into that next year when there was a ton of pressure, and he made things work. They had some ups and downs. He ends up winning a bowl game, and then the rest is history, So, and then going into his first year in the NFL, like everybody's saying, well, Ken Dorsey and Brian Dable, like they threw him into the fire right away over there, and he didn't start the first game. Obviously, Peterman was there at the time. Nathan Peterman, and then they brought in. God, we talked about this.
I'll try to pull it up.
The kid from Oregon State. It was the guy from Oregon State that played for a while.
The tall kid,
the tall guy, and I forget.
This is 2018, right?
Yeah. So he ends up getting tossed in there, and the first year was pretty much what people expected it to be.
Was it Anderson?
Yeah, I think it was.
That's just off the top of my head, but I'm looking at it.
I think it was.
Right.
And he had somebody who helped. He needed somebody like that, somebody to help groom him, to talk with, to basically like understand his role as that guy's the backup, and his job is to groom Josh, right? So then going into his second year, he starts playing a little bit more freely. He's not trying to be.
It's AJ McCarron. He was actually
AJ McCarron was there, but it was the other guy. I think it was Derek Anderson. Yeah, Derek Anderson.
Okay.
Who was a longtime vet in the NFL, and so having that as a backbone was really good for him. And then it was the other kid that came from Cal, Davis Webb, who was like the coach's kid, the brain. That was the third stringer, and he helped Josh out a ton as far as comprehending, defenses and coverages and fronts and changing protections. And
no, it's not Anderson. It's not Anderson.
I thought it was.
It's the starter. It says starter, AJ McCarron, reserves, Nathan Peterman, and Josh Allen.
They brought in Anderson at one point or another.
Okay, yeah, because this is early. That's like July, but
yeah. He came in like after the first week, I think is what it was. So, but having a good core behind you, I think is huge, and that's what people don't realize is like, at some point or another, like you go look at the Bucs, right? The Bucs could have dealt Blaine Gabbert at some point or another for something, right? Or just to get him out of there and sign some younger kid. You couldn't tell me that there's not a little bit of influence. Clearly, Tom Brady likes Blaine Gabbert. That's why Blaine Gabbert is still on the Bucs. Does that make sense? Like he has a good relationship, and they're watching film together, and they're doing, they're hanging out outside the field, or they're hanging outside the facility. They have a good bond, a good relationship. So if Tom needs him for something as far as breakdowns and film and what the opponents are doing, guess what? He likes Blaine Gabbert doing those things for him. So Davis Webb was that guy for Josh. Josh had a really good relationship with him. They would go over the call sheets every week. So that was a good backbone to have. But then, now we're in, year 5 for him. This is 5th-year option. And obviously he just got hurt the other day, and I think he's day-to-day. But you see what he's done from his first year, where he tried to be something he wasn't necessarily this pocket passer. He tried to be this pocket passer that's not his game. As you watch, he runs around, he creates space, he creates a ton of plays, and
so
can air
real
it
quick,
out from
so
any
you wouldn't
spot.
call him a pocket passer. You would say that Josh Allen is more of the playmaker
I would say that
can play from the pocket.
right, and I would say that Justin Herbert doesn't do as much of it, but Justin Herbert certainly has the capabilities to do those things. Same thing, because if you look at the Oregon tape, that's what he was doing at Oregon, right? And
even then, you talk about weapons, right? It's not like this guy was at Alabama throwing to all these first-round receivers. Justin Herbert was at Oregon throwing to really die was his best weapon. I mean, the receivers, we can't even – Johnny Johnson, maybe like you could kind of throw that name out. And I know that because I watched Oregon so much, but he was struggling. There was another Johnson guy that they got transferred from Penn State, but none of these guys that – what is that? Okay, none of these guys that are like playing in the NFL, right? Like that. Like you're not gonna be able to name any receivers from Oregon during the time that Herbert was there. So you talk about weapons and things like that, and
and making things happen like that. That's somebody said in the chat. He's a creator like that. That's what they do. They create space. Bryce Young is great at it. Alabama hasn't been playing up to their standard, I guess. If you watch their tape this year, and their line has struggled a little bit, but without him, look, he creates a ton of space and makes a ton of plays happen. And I think that those are underlooked traits. And so that's the thing. Like people talk, okay, Justin Herbert, there's Trey Lance, there's Justin Fields. Like what makes those guys special as younger quarterbacks is that. The ability to do that. It opens up a lot of the offense, and it makes people play a little bit differently on defense, whether than their base packages or, whether you get them a nickel or you get them a dime, and you got to have a spy in the middle of the field now. So now you don't have somebody dropping off into coverage. So the way that you play those guys is completely different than the way you play Tom Brady. Yeah.
So you just identified Trey Lance as one of these guys that's like, you would lean more as a creator, right? A playmaker.
Right. That he was drafted off of his abilities and his potentials to basically potentially do that, right? With the Niners.
So my question is, if you have a guy like that, do you confine him to just being like playing this specific way? And you talked about Josh Allen, some of the things that, Josh Allen was trying to be someone else as a rookie. Right. Then he had, it's like, look, I'm just going to let it rip. I'm going to play free and I'm going to be the best version of that I can be. And obviously we see what that's turned into. And there's still some, ups and downs at times. But for the most part, he's fucking awesome. Right. Trey Lance is playing under Kyle Shanahan. And Shanahan seems like he wants things a very, 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 very specific way.
Right. And
so
I think
how hard is that for someone that has the skill set of Lance, knowing I feel like I can do some of these different things, but this coach wants me to do it this very specific way. And if I can't do it that very specific way right now, just one or two things will happen. One, I just might not play. Or two, you call quarterback powers 10 times a game.
And so I think that it's a comfortability thing on both ends, right? So like if Trey proves his full capabilities, that he could run the offense within the means that Kyle wants it run, that now you have a little bit more leeway to do what you want to do, right? Now, if you don't, then we're going to have to find a way to reel you in a little bit and make sure that you are doing things in a more structured manner. But you can only do that to a certain extent, because I don't care what, I don't care what people say. If you get me an athlete that is a really good quarterback and you tell him he has to hang in the pocket and do what he's going to do, it's probably not going to work out for you. Right? Like, imagine telling Lamar Jackson, hey, bud, sorry, but we need you to throw it from the pocket a little bit more. Like, hang in there. If you get sacked, so be it. But don't do what you're doing. We can't risk it.
I think that's part of the issues with Justin Fields in Chicago, right? For a while, it's like, why aren't they using him a little bit more? Like, use his legs a little bit.
Right.
And now we've seen over the last few weeks, he's like, fuck y'all. I'm finna use my legs. If I drop back and it don't look right, I'm taking off. And now everybody's like, oh, Justin Fields. Now, he's not throwing for a ton of yards, but I do believe that part of his game will come, right? Like, it'll develop. But for right now, let him create and figure things out as he goes, but in a way to where at least he's going to have the most success that he can have.
Right. And I think that we talked about it from the beginning with Trey. Like, Trey, the offense that Trey was given last year against Arizona, we had that conversation. Like, I didn't agree with.
You hated it.
I didn't like it. I didn't.
You didn't just not like it. You hated it.
Yeah, it didn't give him a fair. I don't feel like it gave him a fair opportunity to really succeed, because you're throwing him into this little college-looking offense for 1 week, along with everybody else having to do the same things. Like, I know the blocking scheme doesn't change a ton, and I don't know what the route concepts. I'd have to go back and watch the game, but what that route concept or those route concepts really look like. But I always wanted him to have a fair shot at running the same offense that has had success the last 3 to 4 years roughly, and so I would anticipate, and that's the big question, is like, how is it going to be when Trey gets back? Trey is going to play at some point or another how he plays football, and he's going to do what he does, and that's what's got him to the point that he's at now, and that's probably what's going to carry him forward. If you try and take some of those abilities that he does well away from him because you're scared of him potentially getting hurt, I think more fans, right, are concerned with players getting hurt than players are with themselves getting hurt. Like, you go back to when you were on the field. Like, I never took a snap under center during a game and thought, dude, if the left tackle blows it right here, that big ass dude on the edge is going to kill me and I'm going to break my back or something. What I'm saying?
What about when you jumped over a guy? Do you have a picture of that?
I do. I don't have it. I'd have to go screenshot it off of YouTube or something like that. Okay.
For those of y'all don't know, Greg, he wasn't considered the creator, right? But
I wasn't a dual threat quarterback by any means. I was more of a pocket passer for sure.
Right, and you were letting it rip. But we were in the game, and Greg jumped over a defender, and I
did it. I did it at the end of the game. So, like, we didn't run zone read. We were running like power O at the end of the game to run it out against Delta of Stockton, and there was, it was straight like trap or handoff, like inside zone under center, and it was open up, hand it off, carry my boot out, and fake it. Well, the end kept on crashing like multiple times, so I'm like, screw it, I'm pulling it. So I remember the first time I did it, the end crash, I pulled it, take it up the middle of the field and lower my shoulder into the safety or the linebacker and got like 8 or 9 yards, right? And then Coach Young's on the sideline like, hey, like, just when there's 3-4 minutes left in the game, just like, this first game of the year, chill. So, like, literally 3 plays later, same thing, same play call, end crashes. I take it around the corner. It's like a 5'8" DB, and I'm almost 6'3", 230. And I'm like, screw it. Like, I already know he's going for my legs. So I just went right over the top. And I remember the sidelines going nuts on the camera.
Crazy.
I think it was like a net gain of 3 yards. And I hurdled over this dude for basically nothing. And I remember Coach Young at that time, like, I started to walk back to the huddle. And Coach Young is screaming at me, Greg, get out of the game. You're done. we can't be doing this stupid shit right now. We can't risk a lot, or can't risk losing you. And we were up by 2 scores, and like a couple of minutes, like literally 2 first downs, and the game's over. So
They call you Greg Newton.
Greg Newton. No, Cam Newton was way more athletic than me. And people, that's another thing too. Like people always told me growing up, like, and I was bigger. Like I'm more fit now than some of the college games that I played in. But tell you some Panelli. But people would always look at me like, damn, you're a big ass quarterback. Like we obviously had these, you remember now these jerseys are way tighter, right? Yeah. And it had the rib protector, and they make better looking rib protectors now where sometimes you can't even see them under pads. But people were always like, damn, you're a big ass quarterback. Or people would ask me like, what do you play? You play tight end, you play DN. I'm like, no, I'm a quarterback. I'm 6'3" and 230 pounds. But that was always the conception around here, is because in the Valley, right, like if you were 6'2", 230 or 240 in high school, like I wasn't that big in high school, I was 215, 210. But your average lineman at a small school is like 220, right? 230. Right. So, and the quarterback is 5'10", 5'11", maybe 170 pounds. So everybody always had like, you're way too big to be playing quarterback. But if you go look at a lot of NFL quarterbacks, like people see quarterbacks in person. Like the first time people see Josh, the first time people see Tyler Bray,
Justin
or even
Herbert.
If Justin
my
Herbert,
brother
right?
saw Justin Herbert, and my brother lives in Irvine.
Yeah.
So he sees a lot of the Charger players, and he said, bro, I saw Justin Herbert in the grocery store. He said, he's fucking humongous.
Yes. And when I saw him at camp, like I went down there and I saw him at camp, and like, you know who I saw? I was in Georgia, Tennessee this week, and in the recruit thing, I saw who's it? David Gerard. Remember the quarterback from the Jags? Yeah. Dude, I saw David Gerard, and I was like, I told my wife who he was, and then he used to play, and I looked at his legs, and I'm like, oh my God, like his calves were as big as my quads. This dude was, and he still looked like a linebacker. He was probably 6'2". He looked like he was about 6'2", 255. And he did not look like he was fat at all. Like he looked like he could still roll. But his legs were huge.
He was there. So when I had my workout with the Jets, he had a workout that same day. He was throwing to the receivers that had a workout that day. So they ended up keeping Garrard. So I was on the Jets with Garrard for a little bit.
Okay.
Until he just like randomly like retired.
So you remember how?
Yeah, he was well.
His legs were massive. Legs were massive, man. And I never asked why he was there. He is 6'1". They said he played at 6'1", 235. So yeah, me saying he was 6'2",
that's a thicker guy.
But his legs were massive. But Donovan McNabb is another guy. Like I seen Donovan McNabb in Las Vegas, walking through the casino, and he made me look like child's play. And to most people, like you're a bigger quarterback. No, I'm like, if I play quarterback in the NFL, I'd be considered probably an average size quarterback in the NFL. Right. But yeah, Jimmy G's he's 6'2", 230. Josh is 6'5". In the offseason, 6'5", 245, 250-ish.
I've seen some pictures. Was it this year? And I'm like, did Josh Allen put on a little weight?
His reporting weight, I believe, is 242. And if they go over, you know how that goes. You go over, reporting weight is 10 racks off the top right there. And so he plays at about 242, 245-ish. Yeah, but most of these guys are bigger dudes, man. Justin Fields, like, look at his legs.
Yeah.
That guy's a horse, dude. Cam Newton, huge.
Cam's huge. Does Josh Allen really only play golf in the offseason? Like, is that how he gets ready for the season? Just play hella golf?
We play a lot of golf together. Yeah. Like he does train. Like he'll lift and train and also, you get banged up for 6 months straight. Like you're going to take some time off. And these guys are so good at what they do. They can go pick up a football after not throwing it for 3 months, and it's going to take them 10 minutes to figure it back out. So it's working on the little things, more film reviews, more offensive study stuff. What could I have done better? Taking more of a mental approach, getting their bodies right for the upcoming season, and then getting their mind off of their job, right? Like people, me and you, we train athletes, you do the podcast and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we go home and we're with our wives, with our kids. What can we do outside of this and training that takes our mind off it. Like these guys do football from 6 in the morning till basically 6:00 at night, and then you can't even turn on the TV without somebody talking about you, right? So it's like, what can I do? Distance myself. I'm going to go to the golf course and play golf for, and then that's something you can also do without a ton of people noticing you because you're out doing that by yourself with some buddies. So, but the game is changing. We're talking about the quarterbacks and the size of them. Look at the Chargers defense. When I watch the Chargers defense on tape, right, they'll run the 3-4, they'll run 4-3, they'll do like a bear look. They do a bunch of different stuff, and they do it pretty well. But the Chargers defense looks like they're transforming and it's almost the same with the Niners, right? When that's becoming a trend across the NFL. You're not seeing a ton of Brian Urlacher is playing linebacker anymore, right? Or
now, even then, Fred
sucks.
Warner at like almost 6'4", 235 pounds, he's actually a bigger linebacker.
Yeah, in today's age, which like Patrick Willis, when he played, like one of the best ever, obviously. But you don't see a ton of linebackers.
Well, no, even Patrick Willis. Like I saw Navarro Bowman, right? So another time I'm with the New York Jets. We're out in the club one night for one of my teammates' birthday parties, right? I think it was Ellis Lankster. And we're out there, and I'm like, ooh, okay, let's go. We in the VIP popping bottles. Okay, let's go. And I look to my right. I'm like, is that Navarro Bowman? And like Navarro Bowman was in VIP with us, right? But when you look at Navarro Bowman, just regular human Navarro Bowman, like street clothes, and because these guys they don't have like a bunch of fat, right?
Right.
Like, so they're more muscle. It's like Navarro Bowman wasn't big. Like when you just see him in person, because it's not sloppy weight. Like let's say he was 240 pounds, right? Let's say Navarro Bowman 6'1", 240. But when you see him in street clothes, because he was all muscle, he did not look big. And I'm like, it's kind of a little linebacker. But like Fred Warner, you see Fred Warner, and because he's so tall, it's like, oh, okay, that's a big ass linebacker. Yep.
I saw Navarro Bowman over there in Hawaii. We stayed at the same hotel. Got some pictures with him. This was 2015, and walking around the pool, and he's in a tank top, and you're just like, good Lord, like this is right after the season, just shredded. Looked like a running back, honestly, but he was a dude. Are you sure that that party you weren't at wasn't Plaxico Burress's party in the club?
Shooting himself? No, it was not.
Were you? You weren't there with Plaxico, right? That was like 2 years before you.
The big name receiver when I was there, they did have. He didn't even play. His name. The one that played for the Steelers. Did he play for the Steelers? Yeah, Santonio Holmes. So Holmes was there, but he had a hurt foot the whole time. And then they brought in Braylon Edwards. They brought him in.
Yeah.
And
another big receiver. See, like even the receivers have changed. A lot of guys were built like that, but the Chargers defense is built more for speed. When I watch them on tape, they're built more for speed, more for the spread passing game. They'll fly around to the ball. They do miss some tackles. And this is jumping into like some of the stuff we were talking about, but the Chargers defense, like even watching them in person, like their front is solid, obviously, and they got Khalil Mack, and Bosa, but Bosa's he's still hurt, right? He's on the IR, isn't he? Is he hurt still?
Yeah, you talking about Joey Bosa?
Yeah.
They're banged up. They're pretty banged up,
and
on offense and defense.
It's good timing for the Niners, obviously, to be playing them, because I think that the Chargers have they're an up and coming squad, and I think that they have a ton of potential.
But are they up and coming? Because it feels like they've been up and coming for a couple years now. They missed the playoffs last year, which I think, the first year, all right, Herbert, rookie, even though he was really good, okay, let him go. All right, you bring in a new coaching staff. And it felt like they missed the playoffs because of their coach, with just some of his decision making. But again, we can maybe say, we pay attention when it didn't work as opposed to when it does, right? With him going for it on fourth downs and whatnot. But this is supposed to be the year where it's like, okay, they're legit. Well, they are 5-3, but I don't know. The eye test, it feels different. Like to me,
I get it. It does, and I think part of it, you got one of the best receivers in the game that's been out with a hamstring since week 1. and so that doesn't help. Who's the other receiver that's out? Do they have another one?
Mike Williams.
Yeah, Mike Williams.
So what's it like? What's it like being a quarterback and your two best guys, they're just out? So they have been playing with this kid, Josh Palmer, out of Tennessee. And he's solid. And he had a big game against Atlanta.
And another kid from Sac State, right?
DeAndre Carter. DeAndre Carter. A former 49er. The 49ers have him on the practice squad. But
but he's actually stepped up. But it's tough. Like, I remember my first year, right? Like, I grew up with Marcus. And like, that was my receiver growing up. But you don't have your top two guys. Like, it's a little nerve-wracking because you don't have that same trust. Whether people say they do or they don't, like, they don't. You know, you can't tell me that, if let's just say that Jimmy didn't have Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle, do you think he'd be feeling the same way walking into the stadium that day as if he has the full squad with him? You know, or same with your lineman, right? Like, there's always going to be that thought, how is he really going to perform? Is he going to catch the ball? Is he going to run the right routes or adjusters when we need him to do those things? So, it's different. You definitely have to make adjustments, and the timing is going to be different. The way guys break in and out of routes is different. So, I can imagine it's obviously putting more stress on him than he'd probably like. But the good thing is when you click on the film and you watch Justin Herbert, he has the ability to make all of the throws on the field from all different arm slots, from with guys in his face, without it, off of a drop, on the run, off platform. He could do it all, right? But they don't throw the ball downfield a ton, and he'll force some stuff downfield, but he'll like to, he plays a lot of the underneath game. It's very similar. What they're doing is very similar to what the Niners are doing as far as offense goes. They dump it off to Eckler, it seems like 9 times a game probably, right? And then they work a lot.
Fantasy promo code Crocky, take the higher on all of Eckler's, on the catches, reception. Props.
Because I got him on fantasy, and it's like, holy smokes, every week he's just racking up the reception points. So they do that. They throw a lot of the underneath stuff. They'll do a lot of switch stuff. It's very similar, and then they'll take a couple shots down the field, but it's tough to defend a guy like Herbert, just like it's tough to defend a guy like, Josh and Mahomes and Lamar. You got to kind of put a little extra emphasis on those dudes, with a linebacker or with the edge players or the force players that are on the edge. So I think the Niners are well suited for it. Obviously, the secondary's done well this year.
What about the offense? How do you feel about 49ers offense going up? Because right now, feels like this is probably as healthy. I've been wanting to see the 49ers like string together. Be who I think you are, right? Because when the way they talk about the 49ers, and I want to say they might have like the 4th highest odds right now to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Every TV show you go on is like, who is the scariest team? Who's the team that can threaten the Eagles in the NFC? It's like 49ers every single time. And I'm like, damn, I get it. 49ers against Chargers right now. 49ers are 7-point favorites on the road. I say road because it might look like a home game there. But when you look at it, they're 4-4. And they've had some ugly losses. Right. When I say ugly losses, you lost to the Bears. I get it. Monsoon hit, whatever. But you lost to the Bears. You lost to the Denver Broncos, where your defense only gave up 9 points. You got destroyed by Kansas City Chiefs at home, and it was just like, it just got away from you to the point where you just had no chance. I mean, they've had these ugly losses, but it's like, nah. Oh, 49ers are playing at home, though. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
49ers are. Okay, so they're 7-point favorites at home. My apologies. So even then, that's still like 7 points, and maybe it's because of all the injuries the Chargers have. But it seems like a lot for a team that is 4-4. They've been very inconsistent. And it's like, I look at the team and I'm like, this is probably the most talented team in the NFL. And they're healthy at the right time. You got Elijah Mitchell coming back. You got Christian McCaffrey. Debo looks great. He changed his helmet. He's wearing a shut helmet now. I love that shit, right? Ayuk is out there and everybody's looking. It's like, okay, we're ready to fucking roll.
Yeah. And I would say, you know what? with the bye week, besides the health stuff, which is great, it gave the coaching staff, it gave Shanahan a free week, one, to evaluate tape, but two, to figure out how he's going to utilize McCaffrey and Mitchell together and come up with this, basically some new plays, some new things, some new wrinkles that they're going to throw in there at people. So I'm excited to see the offense. I think that, I think the Chargers run D gives up on average, it's 5.7 yards a carry.
Yeah,
they've allowed 9 touchdowns, and the Niners have allowed 3.4 carry. The Chargers defense has given up 65% completion percentage, 13 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions this year. Versus the Niners, 66% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, 6 picks. So, I just watching them on tape, I think the Niners, if the Niners can get, and that's always the conversations, like if the Niners can really get their run game going, the quarterback, whether it's Jimmy G, Trey Lance, or the garbage truck guy down the street, like they should be able to figure it out because you have faith in the offensive coordinator or Shanahan to set you up in those positions because their run game works. When it's on, we can all agree, like it is very tough to beat. Ask Aaron Rodgers that, right? So,
Right.
But when it's off, and I think that when it has been off, they've done a decent job, right? But everybody's got to everybody's got to execute together. And that's talking mainly about the O-line, making sure that the protections are a little bit more tightened up and buttoned up. The Jimmy's a little bit more dialed when he has to be dialed, and the receivers are catching the ball. So, I think that, I don't like making predictions, but I would expect some of those screen plays that we've talked about. Like, I have a feeling there's a couple big plays that are coming at some point or another, and it could be this game. I think that Elijah Mitchell is going to be fun to watch. With McCaffrey, like the split back look that they'll probably give him is going to be crazy. I'm very interested to see if they run Debo as much in this wide back position that we've seen him at now that Mitchell's back, because you're going to have McCaffrey and Mitchell, or do you just put Debo and Ayuk out with Kittle, and then you got both running backs in the backfield? But then also it's like, okay, now we're finally getting a chance to see Christian McCaffrey with Juszczyk in the backfield, which I think is crazy to think about, right? Like both of them are pass catchers.
Do that? Because last game they did a lot of 21 personnel with McCaffrey, Jeff Wilson, and now you kind of think about it, right? Because guys like Juszczyk was out, Debo was out, so
you're like, damn, we didn't even need these dudes. We killed them when we didn't even need them. But then,
no, you need them. No, you need them.
I'll mess it out.
Is that like the first 41 personnel? I mean, is that what you would call it?
Like,
I mean, four
like
guys that can literally be your back.
Like your wishbone, going back to the wishbone and doing all these misdirection, toss stuff, this and that, and the other thing.
Y'all did that at Newman, huh? You look like you did that at Newman.
We did that. We ran the veer, and it was terrible. We had no clue. We had no idea. We had threw for over 2,500 yards running the veer offense. Like, it was terrible. We had zero like identity from an offense. So, but it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's the flex bone. There you go. You call it the flex bone, but the weapons that are there available should be exciting to watch, right? And it's like, how do you fit all these guys on the field? And that's been the conversation. Like Odell Beckham Jr., right? Everybody's saying, go get OBJ. Do you go get OBJ for the 49ers for OBJ to be an every down guy, or is he going to play 15 to 20 snaps a game? Where does he fit?
I think you look at it like this. One, I guess you could kind of never have too many weapons, but you look at when Odell signed with the Rams last year, right? Or they traded for him, or they signed him, whatever, however they got him. Remember, they had Robert Woods. They had Cooper Kupp. Like, they had guys, right? What happened that week? The week they signed him, right? Like, they signed him. He showed up. He's at practice. Robert Woods tore his ACL.
Right.
And now it's like, damn, we're down. Robert. Oh, well, thank God we just signed Odell, and I look at the 49ers, and I'm like, and knock on wood, you don't want these guys to go down, but like the 49ers have been very injury prone.
Yeah, history shows.
And they have lost a lot of guys, and they've had to play without guys. And it's like, man, you're just holding your breath every game for guys to stay healthy. And if you have an injury at the wrong position, right? And again, knock on wood, I don't want to, but it can get a little weird real fast. Like they just played in the game where they had to count on Willie Snead, and they brought up another practice squad receiver.
Right. It's I agree with you. It's the only difference is at what cost, right? What is it going to cost? And I'm very curious because I would like to think that this deal is going to be all incentive based. I could be very wrong, but it's got to be an incentive based deal. And who's going to throw out the biggest incentive for him? There's a lot of talks about Jerry Jones getting him, probably the Cowboys.
They kind of need
know
him. They're kind of lacking.
Yeah,
right now.
They got CeeDee Lamb, and I honestly don't even know. I can't name another receiver.
They got Noah Brown, and I know he's been there for a while. He actually had some really good games early on, then he's kind of tapered off. They did get Michael Gallup back. He came off of
okay,
ACL.
That's right. So they got him back, but again, it's like how is he going to be? And that's the other thing. That's the flip side. How is this going to be with Odell Beckham? Are you going to get the same Odell Beckham, right? Because he got hurt before and he came back and it wasn't bad, but now that he's a little bit older and it's a little bit longer, and
30 years old.
What is it going to look like now for him? Are you going to get the same dude that's jumping out the building and going to get it? And also, another thing, as we all know, and this is not a shot at him, is the chemistry, right? What type of chemistry does he bring if he shows up versus what's already in the locker room right now? Because he brings a lot with him, and I'm not saying it's baggage, and I'm not saying the negatives, but he has a different personality that's more outspoken. He's more out there than what the Niners have right now. Like Debo is out there, right? Like the most out there on the offense. He's kind of the voice of it from that perspective, or the social media perspective, or the personality thing. But besides that, everybody else is, or maybe Kittle, right? But that's different. Or his whole vibe is a little bit different. But then you get OBJ, and it's like, oh, like this guy, everybody knows OBJ.
I think it's kind of the legend of OBJ, right? Because
right.
Odell, and we have to go back some years now because he's dealt with injuries. And I did have Coach Desi on my YouTube channel this morning, the morning show, and she talked about his injuries, and it's like you should be very concerned with the injuries that Odell has suffered. But he was a rock star. There was a time where I said this is the biggest name or biggest brand in football next to Tom Brady. It was Odell Beckham for like multiple years, and he's not that. Now, whether he thinks he's that in his head, I don't know. I think he did a really good job taking kind of I don't want to say a back seat, but just understanding that, okay, I have to play my role with the Rams. And then remember, first game with the 49ers, I don't even know if he had a catch. Maybe he did. But the last game he played against the 49ers, he had over 100 yards. Right. So he's a guy that kind of grew into his role. I do have a super chat here from Damon, and he says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of lack of continuity, offensive line, new coaches, injuries caused the 49ers slow start? Let me answer part of that, right? Because there were a lot of weird, different dynamics. You start off against starters aren't really playing a whole lot in preseason now, so that's tough. And then week 1, you got Trey Lance, and I look at the missed opportunities. So Debo Samuel fumble inside the 5 on the first drive of the game. The missed throw to that tight end. You start looking at those things where, like, man, this should be a blowout at halftime, but you're only up 10-0. And then the monsoon hits, and that starts getting weird. And then the next game, Seattle, 49ers drive down twice with Trey Lance, no problem, but on the second one, he gets hurt. And then now you're playing with Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you go play the Broncos, and now this is Jimmy's first start. A guy who's coming in and had 0 offseason with you. Like 0. Like that shit does matter. I don't care what anybody says. It matters. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's part of what, when you start talking about lack of continuity, I think that's a big part of it. And so you lose to the Broncos, and things look weird. And then you win a game, then you lose a game, then you win it. And you've dealt with these things, but I think at some point you got to figure it out because all teams kind of go through some of these things. And you look at the Chargers, they're playing without their two top receivers, and they're trying to figure out how do we win this game. And okay, they figure it out, and they beat the Falcons, a team that the 49ers could not beat, when they play head-to-head.
Right. Well, look at the. I was just watching on NFL Network shortly ago. Look at the Bucks, right? That's one thing, and then look at the Rams. These are your last couple Super Bowl champions.
Yeah,
who just look like subpar. Like the Rams they look awful for a team that just won the Super Bowl last year. Their offense looks terrible, right? And
people say Super Bowl hangover, but that typically pertains to the losing team, not the winning team.
Right. Yeah, so it's interesting. Both of those dynamics are very interesting, but the continuity, new coaches coming in, verbiage is different, playbook is different, and what guys expect from you is a little bit different. But the Falcons game, I think that one's the one that a lot of people focus on. Like the people, Broncos, we lost, it sucked, whatever. The Falcons one, I think, was tough because the Niners really should have won that game. Not taking anything from the Falcons, because the Falcons are kind of showing that they can do some things pretty decent, but just lack of execution as a whole, right? The defense the injuries, that game, defensive execution, offensive execution on the front, dropped balls, just a lot of stuff went wrong that shouldn't have gone wrong. So the Niners shot themselves in the foot that game. Yeah. Somebody said it last week. Well, it was our guy, Zombieland, said it last week. Was the drop passes going to be the game changers? Would the Niners have won the game? It's like they might have, because those were 2 touchdown passes that were dropped. So I would like to think the Niners probably would have been in the game if they caught the damn touchdown passes, but that's just me. So
I remember somebody in the chat asked him where he got his veneers from.
He did. Hey, no disrespect, but yeah, he did have some nice teeth. Yeah. I'll give him that. He had a hell of a headlamp too.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then he couldn't hear. We kept bringing him in. He couldn't hear us. And we were like, hey, but there was the echo in the background, and we're like, mute the background tape. And But anyways, I do, before we get out of here, want to talk a little bit about Tom Brady. It's been kind of this discussion for some reason. And again, as much as I'm on Twitter, I'm not really on Twitter a whole lot. Like, I'll kind of click in here and there, and I'll look, and I might respond to something, or I might see something and laugh. Twitter really is like a funny place for me, but there's a lot of like kind of drama, I guess. And then I'm not in the spaces a whole lot, especially anymore. Maybe more so in the off season, but not now. Just really busy. And I guess Tom Brady to the 49ers has come up for whatever. Listen, I don't know. And I touched on it a little bit on the show. We actually had like a long show talking about it, where I thought it would be like a 5-minute thing, but it ended up being like an hour and a half of like Tom Brady, and I thought that was really weird. But Tom Brady, he'll be 46 years old next year. 46. Like I'm 35, and I couldn't play in a football NFL game. You're younger than me. You're a couple years younger than me. What are you, 30, 33?
About to be 33, yeah.
Right. So you're 32 years old, and you can let it rip. But it's like, this guy is 14 years older than you, and it's like he has to come to be the savior, but you also have the Trey Lance dynamic. So your thoughts on potentially Tom Brady to the 49ers in 2023, is that something that even goes through your mind?
It's a wild thought, right? It's a speculation thing, and it's one of those deals where, like, I message you random stuff here and there. It's like, hear me out, right? I'll just text you, hear me out on this. Like, I'll text Croc sometimes, hear me out, ... and just lead with that, and then text them some bullshit, right? But
And I usually give a
then you give me some
answer.
some answer back, but no shot at Tom Brady as far as what he's accomplished, what he could potentially accomplish. He's obviously one of the greatest ever, and it's not really that close as far as there's him in Montana, and I think they're up here, and everybody else is they're below him, in my opinion, right? And that's an all opinion based thing, and you can whatever. But watching him right now and what Tom Brady has done in Tampa and what he did in New England is they had to build a team around Tom Brady, right? It takes particular people to play with Tom Brady. Tom Brady has executed at such a high level for so long. When you step in that door with him into the building, the expectations from him are probably going to be greater than the expectations that you're going to get from the coaching staff, right? And I've heard that from multiple people. And one of the guys at our facility played with Tom Brady, and he said that if you can't figure it out within a day or two with Tom Brady, like if you can't elevate your game to his game and what he expects, you're not going to make it. Like he'll tell the coaches it's not good enough. Like the dude's got to go. We need somebody that's got to be able to play. And I feel like
that happened to my guy Lavelle Hawkins, like when he
we got to bring Lavelle on here. He actually called me last week. We'll bring him on here one day because I think people would get a kick out of Lavelle talking on here. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to do that for like a draft special or something like that and get Lavelle on here. But
I'll bring Lavelle, tell some of his so I did have Lavelle on here, but it was before I had a lot of subscribers. But he talked about his time with the 49ers with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
and all those, and he has some great stories. So now we typically have more people tuning in. So I'll bring him back on here.
Yeah, we're going to get him on, and then I'm going to bring Kenny Wiggins on, who played for the 49ers. He was on the Super Bowl team when we played against the Ravens for Harbaugh. He was on the practice squad and on and off, and then he left to the Chargers and started 40-something games for Phillip Rivers thereafter. But he's an offensive lineman, so I want to get him on here and talk about some offensive line play and what the 49ers do good and bad and all of that stuff. But as far as the Brady thing goes, just watching him play, it just doesn't look the same. The ball isn't necessarily popping out of his hand the same as it used to. You're going to bank on what he's done in the past with a team that is in this win now mode and hope that you're going to get the same result. When you have
the team not built the same.
Right. So he's going to have to relearn. He's going to have to learn the offense, which I would anticipate obviously he'd be able to do. But then you're going to get guys on the team that might say, hey, yeah, he might be the greatest, but I hate playing with him. You know what I'm saying? And so at what cost do they really want to go out there and play with this dude? I'm not saying that that's how he is, but again, you have to. People play a little bit different when they play with Tom Brady because you got to elevate your game to his. He has expectations, and if you don't fulfill those expectations, you're probably not playing. So I don't know how the team would vibe to it. I don't know how. I think there would be some fans that were going to say, "Hey, let's take him. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it." But for me, I'm going to say no.
And that's without. And it's not a Trey Lance part, right?
That's not even like.
That's just he's old, right?
No, and it's not. It really isn't a shot to him at all. Yeah. But it's like it's just time is starting to catch up to you a little bit, and he can still play. Like guy's an NFL quarterback. Like he's not the worst quarterback in the league.
Just last year, I thought he probably should have won MVP over Aaron Rodgers.
So. Right? What did he throw for 5 racks last year or something like that? It's like
nobody attempted more passes in the NFL. Then
the dude is still doing it, obviously. But again, it's like what cost? You get Tom Brady at what cost? You're going to have to get. They're going to want Trey Lance for Tom Brady. Who they got? Kyle Trask behind him and Blaine Gabbert. So you're going to say, hey, well, we're going to trade Jimmy for him. They're going to say no. And
you can't trade Jimmy.
Well, he'll be a free agent anyways, right?
Yeah, no matter what. Like you can't even tag him. So
right. And so then Trey Lance or what, Bosa? You know what I'm saying? Like what is it going to cost to get him? And then how long are you going to get him for? So I threw out the speculation to you. I was like, oh, yeah, hear me out, right? We talked about this. Like, what about Aaron Rodgers? And you said no. You shut it down right away. So I'm curious on yours. So you asked me, so I'm gonna flip it. Yes, the Lakers. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the Lakers, and I know that Croc is a Laker fan. I don't even watch basketball, but the Lakers are trash. Yeah. So let's just settle that now. Who is it? Chris every week. Chris Roscoe, our boy Roscoe's. He's out here tweeting about the Lakers being sad. They're trash. So let's just. Yeah. I remember the first week. The Lakers, well, it was a couple of weeks ago. Well, the Lakers were supposed to be playing, and we had to move the podcast so you could watch the Laker game. And I specifically told you, why are we even wasting our time moving this podcast? Because the Lakers are going to be trash. And you said, I know, but I still got to watch the game. And sure enough, you watched it, and you were completely disappointed like everybody else was. So we shouldn't even have ever moved the podcast. And you remember that conversation. I said, hey, they're trash. Don't even watch. Let's keep the podcast on. And you watched, and here we go. Here we are. So
it's not ideal.
It's definitely not ideal. But anyways, as far as Aaron Rodgers and Brady go, it can't happen, obviously, now. But let's just say, let's rewind.
He's calling Aaron Rodgers throw Rogan.
Throw Rogan. Hey, that's a good one. That is a good one. So let's rewind it here, okay? Because we're living off the speculation world. And I got another one. Everybody's like, oh, come on, here we go, Greg. Let's rewind to the beginning of the season. Okay. If the Niners were going to go after one or the other, Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and you had to trade Trey Lance to get them, who would you have gone after?
Aaron Rodgers.
Because?
Well, coming from pretty much the same offense. My issue with Aaron Rodgers.
No, I want to know why. You can't just say because the same offense. That's
who I would trade.
That's undercutting all of what he's done well because Aaron Rodgers
he
played
is amazing.
In the same offense.
I think. Well, I mean, what version of him is amazing? Because really, and I don't know. Right? I got some
Danica Patrick. He needs to get back with Danica. That was the best version of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well, he's with the witch lady now, Spirit Blue or whatever her name is.
Oh man,
she's doing some kind of bad voodoo on him.
Maybe so, but. Yeah. So it would have been Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Whatever he's doing with her, he got to stop.
And then you fast forward.
He was taking all the hallucinogens and all. He was taking all the shrooms. Or wasn't he doing all the crazy stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's her, bro. It's her.
Yeah, it might be. It might
Spirit
be.
Blue or whatever her name is.
It's funny because I met Aaron Rodgers in 2018. And I think I told you this before. When I caddied for Josh at the Celebrity Golf Tournament in Tahoe, we met Aaron Rodgers. He was walking through the casino with Danica Patrick and like 2 or 3 of his buddies. And I'm walking with Josh's dad, and myself. And so they run into each other. We cross paths. And Josh had played 1 year in the league. And Aaron Rodgers stops Josh. Hey, what's up? And Aaron Rodgers wasn't as big as I thought he was going to be. That's one guy I thought he was bigger. But I was about just as tall as him or maybe a little bit taller. But
yeah, you're a little taller. He's 6'2".
So we saw him, and I was behind Josh, and then they dap him. He daps him up. Hey, what's going on? How's it going? How's the golf game? Blah 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 for about a minute, and then we go on our way. And I remember one of Aaron Rodgers' buddies asking him right when they got past Josh. He taps him on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, who the hell is that?" And now, fast forward 5 years from now. Or 4 years from that point.
Yeah.
He just beats him 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Football, right? So it's like, I think it's funny how it's all come full circle now, where his buddy's asking, who the hell is this kid right here? And now this kid takes you down on Sunday Night Football. I thought it was pretty cool.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
So, the Rodgers tried to offer Greg the immunization shot. This is 2019. So But
not the COVID shot, not the COVID.
the immunization one.
Yeah, the immunization shot.
So but the Brady thing, yeah, I would put it to rest. I know that multiple people have said it. They would expect it. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's so you'd have to pay ridiculous money for him, and you at that rate you're going to attempt to buy a Super Bowl, right? And there's going to be a couple players that are going to get shipped off in order to get him. And the only people that I can think of that would allow you to do that would be getting Debo off the roster and getting probably Nick Bosa off the roster, one of the two, and probably Trey. If not Trey, you'd for sure Bosa's gone, because you're gonna have to pay Tom Brady ridiculous money, and then you're gonna bring him in for a year to groom Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is gonna sit again. So now you got Trey Lance that sat his first year with Jimmy. He basically sat this year because he got hurt. Next year, if Brady came in, he's gonna sit again, and then he's gonna go in his fourth year.
No, hold on. Sat the COVID year.
The COVID year because of college. He sat out college. So now you're talking like, 4 to 5 years without playing. Now Brady Rodgers did that with Brett Favre in front of him, and I think it was one of the best things for him. Steve Young did it with Joe Montana in front of him. I thought that was one of the best things for him. So when people talk like, throw Trey in, a lot of people, and his history shows the guys that have sat or had an opportunity to sit at least a little bit have fared a little bit more than the guys are tossed into a fire right away.
I think that's a little different, though. And here's why. Trey played at the FCS level, and he did very well. And that was it, just 1 year, right? And I know Aaron Rodgers played at Butte Junior College, went to Cal, but at least he played a couple years at Cal. And then, I'm in this offense for 3 years, sitting behind Brett Favre. And if you kind of go back, look at the reports, like it wasn't great, like his first 2 years.
Right.
Yeah. And then third year was like, like he's good. All right, he's good to go. Right. But as far as Trey, it's just way weirder because one, you gave up a lot of draft capital to move up to get him. Y'all have dads. I don't know what that is, bro.
That's just so random. I'm sorry.
Are you blushing? You turned red just now.
It's just, it was so wild. That was so out of pocket, just so random right now. I wasn't expecting to see that. Like,
okay. Hold on. They're upset with you, and maybe listen, y'all. Greg is verified on Twitter now, so if he says some out of pocket stuff, you know what I'm saying, he's feeling himself a little bit.
Yeah, right? I'm feeling a little bit different these days on Twitter. I'm gonna start firing some stuff off. I might change my profile picture. We made it. I texted my wife earlier. I'm like, hey, I got verified on Twitter. She's like, oh, that's cool, And I was like, no, but I did it without having to pay for the blue check mark. She's like, dang, are you serious? Like it was a completely different conversation. Like I did it myself without having to pay for the blue check mark or whatever it may be. But
you did you have to pay for the blue check mark?
I did. But one of the things that I talked about the other day, I was talking about with one of my buddies that's a quarterback coach, is you doing the Twitter blue thing. One, the editing pisses me off. Like I'll send out a tweet and like autocorrect will hit my phone and it's like, dude, I just typed out 100 freaking words and now I got to delete the whole damn thing. Go screenshot it, paste it, whatever it may be. But the thing that I'm really intrigued with that I've heard is coming out is when I video like my quarterbacks on the phone, I typically do it for Instagram or for Reels on Instagram, and I do it in 60 frames per second on 4K, and then you try and upload it to Twitter, and the quality, it's blurry, it's knocked down, so it doesn't transfer. And apparently with doing the Twitter blue thing, the new stuff, the video quality will be better, so now I don't have to find some converter or do any of that stuff. So that's kind of the reason why I'm excited about it. Is for more of the video stuff and the Reels that I can post from Instagram basically to Twitter without the quality looking like shit on there.
Well, I'll tell you this as well, and clearly Axel was upset with you, but before we get to what Axel said, another thing, what they're doing is if you aren't verified on Twitter, your tweets are basically going to be like junk mail. Like they're going to push, like the algorithm is pushing up all the verified tweets or all the I don't even want to say verified. Everyone who has Twitter Blue, which I've had Twitter Blue for like a year now, or however long it's been out, I've had Twitter Blue. So I've been able to put out like the longer videos. I have the edit. I've had the edit button and stuff like that. I be editing tweets sometimes. People are like, I saw you edit that tweet.
like that's pretty much the reason. Like the blue check, is it cool, whatever. But now like everybody can have it. So really, what does it mean? And if you want to tell me I got to pay $8 for it, well, we talked about this earlier. Like it's a tax write-off anyways. I'm gonna go spend $8 on something stupid anyway. So Twitter can have the $8, but it gives the ability to edit, and it gives you a little bit better film quality when I'm uploading videos. Whatever, I don't care. If Instagram charges $8,
they're gonna push your stuff up. So
right.
if you are like, especially like, and I know you don't put out a whole lot of content on Twitter. Maybe
no, I don't. I do Instagram 10 times more than I do Twitter.
Right, but there are a lot of people that put out content, and if you're not verified and you're putting out content, all right, and the way they're trying to do it is you're gonna have to search for that to find it, as opposed to it just be, oh, I opened up Twitter and it's right there on my timeline.
Right.
And that's not ideal. If you are a content creator, you might want to, just put your pride aside. I think right now it's a pride thing. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying. And I think it's kind of political too. Like there are a lot of people that just hate Elon Musk. But so there's the people that hate Elon Musk, and then there's the people that just, I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to pay. They're like, man, pay the motherfucking $8 so your shit won't be all fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can see your fucking tweets. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your pride to the side for a second, dude.
Yes. And it's funny because like somebody just said it right now. Everybody talking about Twitter dying, that they're doing it on Twitter. And all of a sudden, a lot of people have these blue check marks.
Right. Like, I see all this
shit. Come on now. Come on. Like, you want to, you're
instantly too. Like, they wasted no time. So it's like,
I seen it this morning. I woke up. First thing I see is like random people screenshot like their Twitter accounts and posting it to Instagram stories. Like, I'm verified now. Like, okay, that's cool. Like, I got it. That's the only reason I was like, okay, well, shoot, it's available now. So now
why
I can
not
go do it? But the thing is, what people, so on here too, and I'll say this, like one of the reasons I basically got my Twitter back was for recruiting, because a lot of college coaches are on Twitter from the Division I level and all the way down. So when I post quarterbacks that I train, the visibility on Twitter for coaching and recruiting is better than the visibility on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So talk about video quality. It's better for me to have that when I can go take a video that I've taken on my phone at 4K 60 frames per second and post it up to Twitter, and now college coaches can see that without looking all grainy and unprofessional or stupid, So, but that's pretty much the reason why I got Twitter going a couple of years ago, or got it back to tweeting, was a lot of the college coaches basically do their recruiting and conversations through Twitter and DMs and things like that. So, but besides that,
hold on, we got Jason here. He says, I'm frugal as hell. I'll tell you this. It would be hard to find somebody more frugal than me. I'm extremely frugal. But if it can benefit me in a way, or what I am starting to learn, I am getting a little bit better at paying for convenience. Because to me, it's just convenient. The most convenient thing is to not spend the money. Like, that's how my mind has always been working. Right. But now it's like, all right, if you're telling me, now I've been verified for years now. But I'm just saying, let's say I wasn't verified. But you told me, hey, Croc, the content that you put out, if you get Twitter Blue, you get the edit button, you get the longer videos, so you can do, if you get longer than 2 minutes and 20 seconds, your content is pushed to the top where people that aren't verified. Then it's like, all right, like, I'll pay the $8 for the convenience. Yep. But there are a lot of people. I see it. The political Twitter is so funny to me. It's like, you guys make everything political. It's like, I saw somebody like, oh, there you go. Yeah, good job giving your money to Elon. Like,
if I'm not giving it to Elon, I'm giving it to the dude at the gas station down the street for candy bars and an energy drink that I didn't need probably anyways, or another Starbucks coffee that my wife's going to go purchase, or, whatever. And at the end of the day, from a business expense, yeah, you can write off the
You can write off
$8
that
a month.
$8 a month. $8 a
So,
month.
Yeah, $8. So I don't care. It is what it is. If I
Do
can't,
you want to give your thoughts on Elon Musk, or do you want to keep that off there?
here's the thing. Elon speaks his mind, and I think that if people want to speak their mind and give their own opinions, I think that they should be entitled to do so. And you can, and this goes for everybody, whether it's politics, whether it's sports, whether it's people in the chat. Like I can agree to disagree with you. I might have different views than Croc on certain topics, or I might have different views than my own parents. It doesn't mean I hate them at the end of the day. I think that that person is entitled to their own opinion.
No, no, Greg, that's not how it works. If you have a different opinion, you are a clown. I'm posting clown emojis.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's like, unfortunately, if you say the wrong thing, then a whole crowd will jump on you, and it's so split these days. It's like, that's why I use Twitter for very specific things, and it's typically sports related, and I just don't even try and go down the rabbit hole of all of the other stuff.
Hey, so he says, I pay more for YouTube Premium for no ads, and also from what I read, 40% less ads you'll see on what is this? Somebody spamming my stuff. You're out of here. All right, I pay 40%, or I see 40%.
You're out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. All right, I see 40% less ads on Twitter when you have Twitter Blue. So that's something as well. And then I see my guy who says Croc doesn't have good street tacos available anymore. Don't know the worth of $8. So it's funny you say that, because my wife, she wanted some street tacos today. I'm like, babe, the fuck we gonna get some street tacos here in Arkansas? Like, there is a taco truck, and it ain't it, bro. It ain't it. You can get California street tacos, bro. I feel like there ain't nothing like that. So anything else, I got it. I don't know. I felt like I got one out here like a couple months ago, and I'm like, I don't know, man. This shell tastes stale. Like, this is not. It ain't Cali, bro. Like, it's not
risk.
Southside Stockton. It ain't. You know what I'm saying? Charter Way. Like, it ain't the taco truck over there by In-N-Out Burger in Stockton. I'm like, bro, it's just it ain't it, bro. It ain't it. So I am missing that.
High risk, low reward. The one thing, it's funny because I saw when I was in Atlanta this past weekend. Some people on here might remember, but they had when I was in college in Spokane. When I went to Eastern Washington, we had Qdoba, and when I worked for the Oregon Ducks, we had Qdoba, and then there used to be Qdoba around here, which is kind of like Chipotle, but they had these chicken nachos that were like, they were fire. They had this queso dip that was just, it was hitting, right? And they had it in California too.
Oh, okay.
But anyways,
so it's a chain. It's like a
it's a chain. It's a chain.
Whatever.
But they had it out there at the airport in Atlanta, and I didn't end up getting it, but when we were going out to Arkansas, when I was road tripping out there, we stopped at Qdoba, and yes, Qdoba has fire queso, and they used to put on the nachos, and it was jumping. But I hyped this up to my assistant, Thomas. Shout out to T Honey Dip, because I hyped this up so much to him. Like, we got to stop. We see Qdoba. Like, we're looking on the maps on the 40 driving. We see Qdoba in Oklahoma. And we roll up, and I'm getting the nachos, and he orders like a taco or a couple tacos and something else. And I shit you not, they ran out of tortillas or something, because they opened up a bag of Mission tortillas at Qdoba, and I'm like, it almost tastes like a taqueria-ish. It's not bad. It's more authentic to me than like a Qdoba. Chipotle. It tastes better. And sure enough, we look behind the counter. This dude opens up a bag of Mission tortillas and slaps one on the grill.
No.
I'm like, oh no. He looked at me and he's like, no way. This is where you're bringing me? Like this? No way. So yeah, it's just not the same. It's really
not the same. Nah, it is not the same everywhere. And I've been I done been all over now, all over United States. And I don't know, there's just, to me, Stockton taco truck burrito, like, there's just nothing like it. You know, Modesto got some spots. Sac got some spots. Oakland got some spots. San Jose got, like you got it all through Cali. You're going to have your favorite ones. But Arkansas.
I had it in Nebraska one time when I was out in Nebraska. I got a burrito out there at this supposed taqueria. And I remember there being more lettuce than there was more lettuce in the thing than there was meat, cheese, beans, rice combined. So I'm like, this is just different. And it tastes like they just put salt on the meat, and that was about it. So
hey, you got a question here, and we'll probably end on this. We talked about we'll be out in an hour tonight. Then here we go.
Here we go. How does somebody get the name T Honey Dip? I don't know. We're gonna have to bring T Honey Dip on. That's my assistant. Shout out to Thomas, but I don't know how he got the. I think he had. I thought it was something with his hair. And he had that little like duck flap thing in the back, mullet, and I don't know if he colored. This is just me speculating. I think he said that, but it was dyed or bleached at some point, and it had a little wave, so people called it Honey Dip. I don't know. I think that's what it was. So, but shout out to my guy Thomas. That's my assistant. He's with me every single week, and we talk every single week. But I'll bring him on here. He's an O-line coach, but also trains quarterbacks with me now. So he's been with me the last 4 years. But he would be a good guy to get on with, talk some offensive line play. He eats, sleeps, and breathes quarterback play, though, and he loves it. So
that's why I need to get, because obviously I'm heading in that direction now, but I got to eat, sleep, breathe.
He does it more than me, man. Like if it was up to me, like we would be on the phone an hour a day talking about quarterbacks, and or if it was up to him, and I just tell him sometimes, like, bro, like I do not feel like talking about certain quarterbacks or certain dudes that we train right now. It's no offense to them. I can't do it. I can't do it. So,
nah, he's chilling. Well, I guess this will be the last thing. No on prop 27. It was 26 and 27. Y'all California people, y'all out there tripping, man. Y'all don't want to be able to use FanDuel and DraftKings and have your own sports betting apps. What?
It was. I saw it. Somebody said it wasn't even close. It lost by like 3 million votes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was like 83%
I heard it had to
against
do with I heard it had to do with the way that they like worded it or phrased it or something where people didn't even know
that's how they always do though. It's like they always put that on the ballots where it's like one way or the other. It's never a clear picture of it. It's worded like the SATs back in the day. It's like reading comprehension, right? Read this sentence and tell me what it means, and all the answers sound the damn same. It's kind of the same thing. So
they're tricking people, and y'all. And they had people thinking that they were voting for it, and it's like, nah, motherfucker, gotcha.
Yeah, so that's why you're gonna have to use the underdog fantasy and
fantasy. Yeah,
I'm still looking for my big win on underdog. I'm down real bad right now on underdog.
You're still looking for your first win, huh?
I don't know if I can say it, but I got a prized match from another betting app, and I got the $100 match, so I went that way, and I've won 3 times on there. But I didn't win the full bet back. I've only won the like 0.4, 0.5 of your bet, but at least I'm not losing it all. Man, so yeah, I haven't hit the big one yet. 49ers get Eric Berrier, who's the best quarterback for Eastern Washington. Eric was good. I almost had him for draft prep. Trell, message me on Twitter. I'll send you the promo code for it.
No. Hey, nah. Underdog Fantasy. You see the hat. You see the logo in the corner of the overlay. Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy right now. UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app. And when you do, use the promo code Crocky, and they will double your deposit up to $100. So make sure y'all do that. I don't know what Greg talk about, Doc.
But if you end up if you end up losing your money, then come on over. If you lose your money, you got to switch it up like me. Then slide somewhere else if you have to.
Man.
No, I keep on. My wife got on that. She used the promo code Crocky. She gets on Underdog, and then I put my $100 in. They gave me the 100, and I remember first weekend, like me, you, and Angry Donald are texting each other. We're still texting each other. He texts me, Greg, what's the picks? Like, bro, I'm the last person you want to ask for the pick'ems right now, because every time I'm hitting 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, I'm never getting the 4. I got to do the insurance, I guess, but
I don't do the insurance. Not on it would have to be like big money. Like, okay, I'll put $100 up. If I'm not putting up like 100, I I don't do insurance because, okay, let's say I do a $10. I'm not supposed to use the word parlay, but let's say I use a $10 parlay. Well, the insurance, if I get 4 out of 5, all it's gonna do is give me like $12 in wins. But if I hit all 5, it cuts my earnings in half. Over $10. That's how much Twitter blew it. Like, I don't care. Like, not saying I don't care about $10, but I do a lot worse with $10.
I wish I would have done insurance about 7 or 8 times now.
Yeah. Well, you were putting down some.
I wasn't $15-$20, $25. Well, I got that free $100 for using the promo code, so I'm like, all right, I'm on house money. I'm going $35 on the first bet and hit 3 out of 5, and then I go $25, hit 4 out of 5 with no insurance.
You're the reason why they pay me good. Like people like you, they pay me good every time somebody signs up.
And then it's the whole like degenerate gambling, and I'm not even a gambler, but it's like the whole thought on it, like I've lost this much, now I gotta make it back on these next 2 games. So you're like, here's $20, here's 20 on this one. Oh, and I'm gonna do the second half bet on this one too for another 25, and now I'm down $45. And then I'm pissed. And then here comes Monday Night Football. I'm doing first half. I'm doing second half. I'm trying to get something back. And I lost. Maybe I need to start betting the basketball. So I don't know. It's not working out great for me right now. I don't
know, man. The basketball, I
need to be like Mattress Mac, man. You heard about that guy.
Man, what? He just came up like 70 million. I saw something crazy.
$75 million he won.
Yeah.
He put on the Astros, put money down and won $75 million. Not bad. So
what does he do? He takes the money every year. I mean, it's like every year he takes it and he puts it towards it, or is it like?
Yeah, I heard Tyler Bray was telling me we were in Tennessee this weekend.
Hey, real quick, he put that money on the Astros. Whatever money he put, it was like in May. It wasn't even like, oh, it's the World Series now, I'm gonna go put a bunch of money on the Astros. He put millions on them in like May.
Right, and then the money he puts down, right? It was something like if the money he puts down on them and they win, then he'll give the money that he put down. He would give away in mattresses, or that money worth in mattresses, or something like that. So it becomes a tax write-off. It's like a business strategy for him. But I don't know. Tyler Bray was talking about it, and he gave me the whole rundown. But it was over my head because I'm not the sports bettor. Well, now I am, but I'm not the winner.
Make this make sense. He leverages his bets with purchases from his store.
Yeah, see, that's leverages his bets with purchases from the store. So, I don't know if
is he getting millions of dollars in sales with his mattresses?
Excuse me. I don't know. It's very, very intriguing the way he's doing it. Maybe I should take some advice from him on a much smaller scale, because I might be winning on underdog here. So, Warriors are an okay bet. Crocker or Lakers are done. Yeah, they're done. They're done.
I accept that fact.
Done.
Listen, okay, real quick. Okay,
LeBron James might as well just come to the 49ers because the Lakers are done.
Look, okay, so we'll end on this. All right, for real. All right, I am a big believer in player development, and I am a big believer in going all in to seeing it through. You know, the youngsters say, "Got to see it through, my boy."
Yep.
All right, I heard my son saying that. All right, but I'm a big believer in player development, seeing it through, and really giving it every opportunity. Right, and that's how I go about everything in life. That's how I'm going about it with my gym. That's how I've gone about it with the podcast stuff, right? Like, you have to see it through, and you have to give it every opportunity to be successful. So with the Lakers, when they had Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma and Josh Hart and Julius Randle, and they have all these young guys, my thought is see it through. Like, they're going to develop. They're going to get there. Like, you'll have your own group. It won't take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, but like, man, 4 or 5 years down the line, like, you're talking about a team that can maybe compete for championships for each year, right? Like, just a great young crew. Because even then, you think about these dudes, they're getting drafted at 19. 5 years down the line, they're still 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? And like, they got years left. And they're going to be good and they're going to be competing. I knew that once they got LeBron, all that shit goes out the window. And I should have expected it because it is the Lakers. And they are going to try to buy a championship, right? Like that's what they're going to. There's not a whole lot of homegrown going on with the Los Angeles Lakers. So I don't know. That's why you Aaron Crock, hear me out, Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, no, because I believe in seeing it through. You got Trey Lance, give it every opportunity. It hasn't even had a real opportunity. Give it every opportunity. Do everything possible. Put everything around them. Do everything. Like fucking, I wrote it down. We didn't even talk about it, but Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, what they do? Okay, like, he got benched for Nate Sutherfield the end of his rookie year, right? But okay, Doug Peterson, you over here tripping? He's out of here. We're gonna do what's best for Jalen Hurts. Let's give him Nick Sirianni or whatever his name is. All right, you had a good rookie year. Even then, people still like, oh, you got 2 first-round draft picks next year. You can use them on quarterbacks. No, you know what we're going to do? We're going to trade a pick this year. We're going to go get A.J. Brown. We're going to do right by our young guy, get him a guy, contested catch guy, run after catch guy, drafted the receiver very high for him. We're going to build around our young guy, build an offense around his skill set, and give him every opportunity to be successful. And what do you know? A kid that works really hard, a kid that has the right attitude, a kid that came in, I thought he was a fucking running back, but he came in, he works his butt off, and it's not this amazing explosive passing offense right now, but they're winning. And that's more of how I see it. Not saying that every situation is going to be like that, but you got to see it through. Like you got to give it every opportunity. So the Lakers, they didn't do that. And now we're in a world of hurt. You got a Mickey Mouse ring. I have a ring that's kind of like, this is not Mickey Mouse ring, but you know what I'm saying? Saturday Saber Cats, you know what I'm saying? We out here. But anyways, they got a ring, you know what I'm saying? They got a Mickey Mouse ring, you know, and Laker fans, they want to be excited about that, but that's what you gave up all the young guys for.
It's done. It's a rebuild from here on out now.
Yeah. I don't know. Tough.
So
Clarkson, Nance. I mean, there were just a lot of guys where, and again, maybe you don't keep all those guys, but there had to be like this core, these 2 or 3 of them. Brandon Ingram, maybe, I don't know, Kuzma started getting a little weird. I'm not going to lie. He started dyeing his hair, wearing these super big sweaters. Kuzma started doing a lot of weird stuff. But yeah. But anyways, we've been on here. Talking
for 30 minutes longer than we said we would.
30 minutes longer than we said we would, man. We appreciate everybody that's in here. Oh wait, I almost forgot these. Here we go. Croc, what's up with the Lakers? Yeah, I tagged that twice because you posted it twice. But Lakers, their ass. I'm not gonna lie. Their ass.
They're buns.
Yeah. Somebody said Kuzma was knocking Jenny Bust out. Listen, I don't know about none of that, man. Jenny Bust, I ain't gonna, man, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Jenny Bust was happening. These girls had posted, they posted a picture of Jennifer Aniston. And I'm looking at the picture and I'm just like, I'm not like a body shame or anything like that, or I'm not saying you got to be whatever, but I'm like, she has 0 cheeks. Like, it was like, and I'm like, she got to go get the BBL or something.
Oh, no.
Not Jennifer Aniston.
But she was the Friends era. She was on TV every night, like everybody. I mean, it was different then. It was different. Yeah. So she was top
she worked her ass off, huh?
Literally. Literally.
She worked her ass off.
But yeah, and now
I need just a little. I'm not saying you gotta be, you know, like you ain't gotta be Nicki Minaj walking around. I mean, she got fake ass, but you don't gotta be Meg Thee Stallion. You know what I'm saying? I think she's natural. You don't gotta be that, but like. Just It can't be. You know what I'm saying?
You forgot
You
him
could
in
do.
that.
Yeah, there's things you could do like squats. Yeah, built the
But it was a
glutes.
different era, for sure. Different era.
Not everybody.
You
had it.
didn't have Instagram influencers. Not yeah, you're right.
Not
She's
everybody.
the
That's
one.
that's baby right there. That's baby right there. I'd
That's-
risk it all.
Chess.
I'd risk it all. Sorry, wife.
Crock says he'd risk it all for a certain person. Who would I risk it all for? What celebrity would I risk it all for? Who is it? Say it out loud. No. No, she just said Jennifer Aniston.
Oh wow, no cheeks.
She's trash.
Oh, she don't remember. Selma Hayek. I mean, my wife would say two names.
She just said it. Who is it?
Rihanna.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there she goes. Yeah, my wife would say Selma Hayek, or I got sidetracked because we got the $50 super chat, but Selma Hayek or Rihanna. Now Rihanna, I don't know. Once she had the kid, I don't know. It's just started. It's not the same. But
Yeah, she said Megan Fox first. I mean, that was Megan Fox was everybody's like in high school or out of high school. That was like, oh, she's this young hot chick, and Jennifer Aniston. We talked about that. Jessica Alba, yeah, she was good looking, but
she's
Salma
still.
Hayek
Jessica
is
Alba.
just-
The only thing about Jessica Alba, I don't. They're talking about Derek Jeter gave her herpes or something like that. I don't know. So that's a little.
whoa,
It starts to get a little weird.
who what, the 50 bomb man?
Hey Crocker, love the show. I grew up in Lodi. Okay, heard you referencing Stockton. Did you grow up there? And did you ever go to UOP Niner training camps? Remember seeing Jerry Rice as a kid running around? All right, let's talk about it. So, not only did I grow up there in Stockton, I'm from Northside. I did live in San Jose for some of my childhood as well, but I actually went to Tokay High School in Lodi. So, I went to Tokay. A lot of us that grew up deep Northside, Stockton, at that time, they didn't have McNair, they didn't have Chavez. So, we had to take the bus to Lodi to go to high school. So, I went to Tokay in Lodi. That was when Tokay had a little bit more diversity. I've been back since, just kind of pop in and it ain't the same, right? They don't got everything that we had.
And the UOP Niner training camps. I went to Niners training camp there, and I remember it being hot as hell at UOP training camp. And I got a calendar. My brother still has it. My brother kept it. But my dad's cheap ass is like, here you go. You guys are getting a calendar to share. Like, come on, we all know this ain't working out. My older brother took the damn calendar when we were kids. And we got Jerry Rice autograph and Terrell Owens autograph on the front of the calendar. And it's still in the plastic, but my brother has it. Yeah, we didn't even put the damn calendar up because you couldn't see the autographs because it was right on the cover of it. But yeah, I remember going to UOP training camps.
What? I used to take the bus up there, and I would wear my brother's. I was in middle school. I used to take the city bus up there. I would wear my brother's jersey, and I would hide in the spot. So Mariucci would see me, and Mariucci, he'd see me every day with this damn jersey on, and then got my brother's last name on it, or my last name too. But he'd be like, "Hey Crocker, did you get any good autographs this time?" And I'm like, yeah. Or one time, goddamn, Kevin Barlow, right? So Kevin Barlow, he's walking. I hear him. I used to be in this spot. It was a great spot. Kevin Barlow, I hear him. And he's like, man, like, all these kids, man, they keep asking for autographs, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, look, there goes another kid right there waiting. And I'm just like, he's talking about me. Like, he's like one of my favorite players. I'm the only kid there. Like, I'm the only kid around.
No. Croc just puts his hands in his pockets, puts his head down.
Bruh, like, really? So
defeated.
I used to see everybody right there. So Kevin Barlow, he said that. Keena Turner, who obviously was a throwback 49er. Keena Turner was like, he I asked him, hey, can I get your autograph? He said, son, do you know who I am?
He wanted to make sure he knew.
I'm like,
he wanted to make sure you knew who he was before you actually signed it on.
Yeah. I was like, no. Like, I have no idea. He said, well, go home, find out who I am. You come back. If you tell me who I am, I'll give you an autograph.
Damn.
I'm like, all right. So I went home. I had a plaque. I don't still have it. Dang, I only have this plaque right here. Best defensive back at Modesto Junior College. That's the only plaque I have right here. But anyways, or does this consider? Is this defensive player of the year? Is that a?
This is turned into a flex session here.
All right, but anyways, so where was I? Oh, Keenan Turner. So I went home, found the plaque. He's in the picture. I see his face. He's in the picture. I go down 58, Keenan Turner. Boom. I go back. You're Keenan Turner, right? Like next day or 2 days later. You're Keenan Turner. He was like, I am. So he gave me the autograph. So I'm a credentialed member of the media for the 49ers randomly, right? I'm out there on the field. Who do I see? Keenan fucking Turner. So I said, hey, you fucking old man. No, I'm joking. But I did go to him and I was like, hey, man, funny story. When I was younger, I was in middle school, you told me to, go find your name, look you up, whatever. You gave me an autograph. So it was cool to be able to, kind of tell Keenan Turner that story. He's old now, but got another super chat here. No way. I was at Lodi. Is that the same person?
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, Alex. No way. I was at Lodi High and ran track and Junior Olympics with Javid Best. Okay. Dude had wheels, good stuff, man. Miss San Joaquin conference. So what years were you there? So I was Javid Best. I think that was after me. He was after. Shortly after, yeah. I feel like, though. Like, what was he, like 2008 maybe? 2007, 2008 maybe?
Yeah.
In that?
No, he was at Cal. He finished up at Cal in 2010, I think. Was it 10? I believe. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Man, he had that concussion. Remember, Javid Best had that weird play where he was trying to hurdle somebody, and then it boosted him up even higher. Do you remember that? Then he just fell it looked like from 10 feet up, and landed on his head. He was
at Salesian High School, and he went to Cal from 2007 to 2009. Drafted in 2010.
So 2006 he was in high school.
Yeah.
So he was in high school. So Alex, you might have ran against my boy Devin Mays, because Devin Mays was a speedster. I think Devin Mays, he graduated 2006. I think Dev was a 2006 graduate.
Wait. Was a dude, he was really good. Fun to watch.
Yeah. But anyways, appreciate everybody tuned in, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This show definitely went off the rails a little bit, but just two guys talking football, having fun, and chilling with y'all in the chat on this late night. It's not like I don't have to be up in 4 hours anyways to train this lady, but
to do what you do. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate y'all, and we'll be back next week. Most likely Tuesday. We're gonna try to do Tuesday. But yeah, be back next Tuesday. Until then, we are out. Peace.